The name Satan may well be the hottest trigger word in the English language, and many other languages for that matter. If you really truly want to be a rebel, tell someone that you are a part of a satanic cult and see what happens. But is Satan truly alive and well and possessing innocent children and creating demonic infestations? Or is it all just really symbolism with a deep fear instilled by many religions and promoted by Hollywood? Let's talk about it. This is a kind of topic that brings out the type of people who believe that they are an authority on these kinds of subjects. I call them the well actually crowd. And they say things like, actually, look, I'm no expert, but I do have some understanding here. And after researching this topic quite a bit, I decided to take on this very controversial topic. And why, you might ask? Because it is hard to talk about legend tripping and haunted houses and paranormal and urban legends without talking about the belief in Satan. Let's first talk about the Church of Satan. We've all seen the religious references to Satan, the devil, the Prince of Darkness, etc. But what about real-world organizations and cults? The actual Church of Satan was founded by Anton Szandor LaVey in 1966. LaVey wrote a book called The Satanic Bible as a sort of satanic religious guide. LaVey began performing weekly satanic rituals at his house in San Francisco, which was known as the Black House because, well, it was painted black. In 1967, LaVey performed the first satanic marriage of Judith Case and journalist John Raymond. LaVey also performed the first publicly recorded satanic baptism in history for his youngest daughter, Xena. Xena, later in life, had a crisis of faith when she learned that most of her father's self-created legend was based on lies and that many of his works were plagiarized. Xena has since renounced Satanism and is now a practicing Buddhist. The Satanic Church began a systematic character assassination of her. Sound familiar? Maybe Scientology? The church relocated to Hell's Kitchen, New York after Anton LaVey died in 1997. You can join as a registered member or you can join as an active member. I'm not telling you to do that, of course. And if the Church of Satan wasn't enough, 6 years ago, a couple of guys, Lucien Greaves, the organization's spokesperson, and Malcolm Jarry, formed the Satanic Temple in Salem, Massachusetts. Like the Church of Satan, they painted their headquarters black. The group uses satanic imagery to promote equality before the law, social justice, and separation of church and state. Their stated mission is to encourage benevolence and empathy among all people. Overall, the group does various political theater using satanic imagery in order to garner attention to their causes. They are a separate group from the Church of Satan, and the two groups don't exactly see eye to eye, just like Christians. However, what both groups have in common is that they both do not believe in the devil. That's right, no devil. They are both primarily atheist groups, however, but both, however, have very different views as well. And I can't answer for either group specifically, but their information's online if you want to check it out. But overall, neither group promotes violence. The Satanic Temple seems to be a little more involved with today's political trends and personal expression more than anything else. Another group or religion who does not believe in Satan, and it's worth mentioning, are the Wiccans. That's right, witches do not have a devil in their deity, period. Witches, in the pure form of Wiccan tradition, do not do harm. The rule of three threefold law, or the law of return, is a religious tenet held by some Wiccans and pagans and occultists, and it states the following: that whatever energy a person puts out into the world, be it positive or negative, will be returned to that person 3 times. Are there bad witches? We'll talk about it another time. From the 70s through the 90s, the country was gripped by something called the Satanic Panic. And that was the idea that devil worshippers had constructed this vast underground of network to promote evil, and sacrifice animals and virgins and babies and wreak havoc on earth and turn people away from God. And rock bands were a major target. And I remember that many of my favorite bands were in the crosshairs. Blue Oyster Cult, Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, Kiss, AC/DC, of course, and even the Eagles. Later, some artists actually boasted about having an affiliation with the church and didn't say that they didn't. And that was people like King Diamond and Marilyn Manson, who said they were card-carrying members. But I never imagined that when Poison released the song Something to Believe In, that we would have religious groups protesting us. It's not an anti-Christian song, by the way, but it was about losing your way and feeling like there's nowhere to turn, and then when you did think that there was somewhere to turn, that it really was a dead end and something wasn't true or false. And it was about feeling sort of depressed and overwhelmed. But there are places to turn, by the way. And as a side note, if you do struggle with depression, please get help. Don't feel embarrassed about that. It's okay. Anyway, back to the story at hand. So since the devil or Satan was the rebel in the Bible, it's no wonder that rock bands, who are often associated with being rebellious, have been connected with satanic ideals on some level or another. When rock and roll arrived on the scene in the 50s, many conservative parents, clergymen, teachers, politicians, on and on, warned about the dangers of listening to rock and roll.
Reasons on rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today.
The corna, or horns up sign, is associated with both satanic cults and heavy metal, but its origins are not really satanic. In some forms of Buddhism, it's used to ward off sickness or negative thoughts, and also in the expulsion of demons. It's been seen and used to ward off evil, bad luck, the devil, etc. in several countries around the world. And in Italy, sometimes it's just, no, I'm kidding. Gene Simmons of the rock band Kiss attempted to claim the devil horn's hand gesture for his own and to patent it. He was depicted using it on the cover of the record Love Gun, one of my favorite records, in 1977. Ronnie James Dio has been credited for the horns up sign in hard rock. Ronnie was a member of Black Sabbath for some time after Ozzy Osbourne left. Ozzy Osbourne actually used the peace sign, still does, and the idea was that Ronnie wanted his own hand sign and therefore used the horns up rather than the peace sign like Ozzy did. At any rate, it's used extensively in rock, hard rock, and metal. It'd be pretty crazy for anybody alive today to claim it, except for maybe the band Coven. In 1969, there was a rock band, Coven, who released a record called Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls. The band routinely used the sign of the horn starting when they first formed in 1968. Oddly, Coven's bass guitarist and co-writer Michael Gregory Osborne is credited as Oz Osborne. The opening track on that record is called Black Sabbath.
And boiled as the fires burned, the evening shadows.
So what about demons? Are demons the devil's minions? The popular belief is, yes, they are. In the Bible, in Mark 5:9, when Christ was confronted by the devil, he was asked, "What is your name?" And the devil answered, "My name is Legion, for we are many." So the idea is that the devil has many little bad seeds that he commands. For example, in the movie The Exorcist, the possession was not by the devil himself, but the demon Pazuzu. Pazuzu was the king of the demons of the southwest wind, the bearer of storms and drought. There's demons in many, many religions and sub-religions around the globe, and one idea is a belief that the well-recognized number of the beast, 666, comes from the belief that there is 600 false religion demons, 66 greed demons, and 6 of world demons. There are 9 types of demons under this theory: false gods, lying spirits, inquisitors, vengeful, deluding, creators of tempests, furies, accusers, and tempters. So the danger is this, that if you believe that the devil does not exist and that demons do not exist, isn't that what all demons and devils would want? Wow, now that's a concept, and a scary one at that. Hence, the fear of this stuff. No matter how you spin it, it comes up scary. Doubly because even if you renounce the entire idea, there are people who wholeheartedly believe it, and they want to use it as their power. They want to do rituals and try to do things in the name of the devil. This is the part that's dangerous. When people do evil in the name of Satan, in reality, it's probably just deranged people looking for a symbolic link to their evil ways. Let's face it, people do evil in the name of God as well, and herein lies all the debate. However, there is no debating that desperate people do desperate things. And if you want to invoke fear in a God-fearing person, you know what to do.
Tell them the devil sent you.
So, are there demon infestations masked as hauntings? If you buy into the idea that demons and the devil have wisdom that spans the ages, well, they certainly could. However, the reverse argument to that is that those types of hauntings usually come with foul odors and ill feelings. They're never playful spirits. There is a whole list of things that make it different than regular hauntings. Of course, if you're an atheist, all this is bunk to you in the first place. But again, beware that there are believers who cause problems in the name of the devil. For example, the guy who used the name Pazuzu, who committed some hideous crimes. This guy's name was John Lawson, aka Pazuzu Algarad, and was jailed for murdering his mother and another person. He buried them on the property. He claimed to be a devil worshiper. He owned a house that was a haven for crime. A filthy, nasty scene was uncovered by Vice. Pazuzu died in prison of an apparent suicide, although details are unknown and are a little scant. This is just one example of somebody using the devil's name to do evil. There are so many examples of it. I will talk about many of those over time. If you can't come up with anything else, you say that
The devil told you to do it.
my point is this: human beings can certainly become the evil that we so fear. You don't need me to tell you this. The age-old question is always,
Did the devil make them do it?
maybe the power of the devil is really the power that we give him. Maybe the real enemy is our own fear of Satan. Or maybe there is something more. I'm Ricky Rocket, and you just watched an episode of Legend Tripping. If you like this, please hit the like button. I'd love for you to subscribe. You would do me a great favor. And set your notifications so that when I do upload new videos, you get notified. Check out my Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/RickyRocket. There's many perks if you join. And I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, take care of each other and keep rock alive. Too much metal for one hand.